Hello, I'm Stephen David Elliott, and I'm so excited to be doing an audition for you. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I am a broker with Fathom Realty, and I chose Raleigh out of every place in the country to live. I'm originally from Miami because it's such a fantastic place to raise children, and I made more friends than I've ever had in my life. I do my business, my lead generation, all entirely through networking events. In fact, I'm standing right now in a beautiful model home not far from my house where I just hosted a networking event for 75 people with a catered brunch, and we toured all the homes. It's very exciting for me to show properties to people. Now that brings me to why I'm here today. In my networking events 2 years ago, I was able and had the pleasure to meet Dan Sevilla and his wife Janine, and they're very passionate people, especially Dan. Dan is well over 6 feet tall, and I'm 5'7", 5'8" on a very good day, so he looks sort of like Mutt and Jeff. But we've spent a lot of time with each other outside of the networking events, chatting on the phone, going out for breakfast with one another, and he's expressed to me a lot of his goals, whether that be career-wise, and also the fact that they wanted to, purchase a home. For the last few years, they've lived in a rental home, and it hasn't had a lot of the things they like in it. And recently, their lease was up, and they moved in with their in-laws, which can be very stressful, and prepared themselves to purchase a home. Now, my team for the last year has been getting them ready to achieve that goal, and Dan and Janine have been great. They've done everything they needed to purchase a home. We were ready to go out to look for homes. Now, Dan is very, very outgoing, and I would have to say that Janine is a little bit on the shy side. And when they were expressing the types of homes they wanted, there was definitely a difference of opinion on what they wanted. She wanted more of a traditional home. Lot size was not important to her whatsoever, and he wanted more of a country home, on a big piece of property. They have 2 boys, so they need room for them to run around and not always be in the house and have separate areas. So they need a lot of square footage as far as Dan was concerned, where she would have been happy with a 2,000 square foot home. He wanted something closer to 3,000 square feet. Like I said, Dan is not a little guy. He also likes football, so he wanted a room that could be sort of his away man cave. And frankly, although Janine didn't ask for any private space for herself, we know that everyone does need a little place to get away. So I had that in mind when I was looking for houses for her. Now, the first day we took her out, Dan was very excited. Janine, not so much. We looked at some of the properties that she liked, and if we asked her what she wanted, we were pretty much met with a frown. She said, as long as it doesn't have white tile in the house, I'll accept anything. And that's very unusual when you take a couple out to look at homes. He was enthusiastic. It was like pulling teeth with her, taking her to the dentist. And I think that's because we were showing her the type of homes that she wanted, and they tended to be, closer to where she worked, and maybe a little closer to downtown, but they were very tight on space. They were cookie cutter. There were no features that you said, oh, this is great and fantastic. And the features inside, they were a little bit old and shabby. Not the right cabinets, not the right countertops. You would need to put a lot of money into the house to fix it up, and I don't think that would have really been possible for them at this time. Now, we took them out to see a house that was a little farther out, not much farther out, really just going out 15 minutes or so, and it was beautiful. It was big. It was over 3,000 square feet. It had the updated kitchens and bathrooms. It had like a private area for the kids where they could play inside of the house, a beautiful pond across the street from it, and most importantly, a big flat lot with a soccer goal where the kids could play, and they could go out to the pond and fish for tadpoles. And I sort of went off with Dan and went over the house with him, and I said, let Sarah, my wife, talk with Janine. And they developed a rapport at that point, and all of a sudden we saw a smile. and we were showing them around the house, called up the lender, made sure all the numbers worked, we knew what their budget was beforehand, and drove away from the house. I'd say 15, 20 minutes later, they called up and said, let's write an offer. And that night, with a lot of negotiation, the sellers were not easy to deal with. They were going through a divorce, and they were sort of taking out their pain and suffering on the buyers. And this has certainly become a seller's market. We were able to make a deal. And I called them, and they were so excited, and they've been extremely helpful in the transaction. Time is of the essence in real estate, and they've signed every document when they're supposed to sign the document. They've asked all the right questions. They've agreed to do all the proper inspections to protect themselves in the purchase. So I'm very happy, and we're looking forward to closing with them very shortly so they can be in that home. And the best part will be when we give them the keys to the home and we open up the door and they see this absolutely beautiful home. And your viewers are going to be extremely impressed on what you can get in the Triangle for around $285,000. Well, right now, I'm inside of a beautiful model home in North Raleigh, which is the area that I live in. And this home is about $500,000 in an extremely desirable location. If this home was in California, it would be millions of dollars. Now, I'm standing in the kitchen, which is an open floor plan, right in the breakfast room in front of the family room. And some of the fantastic features in this house, we have, I'm going to step back just a little bit, so bear with me. I don't know how the camera's doing. But we have a gas log fireplace, 10-foot ceilings, finished on-site hardwood floors. It's absolutely beautiful. It has crown molding, can lights. In addition to that, beautiful windows. You can't see it because I can't turn the camera for you and also do the video. But just really, really super high quality, and it suits what we like here in Raleigh. Now, thank you so much for watching my audition. I look forward to filming with you later in the year. And thank you so much for the opportunity.